what I'm looking for is like uncluttering flawed premises. So there's really nothing wrong with a negative emotion.
It's a guidance thing.
So there's really nothing wrong with a negative emotion. However, a lot of people bash themselves over the head every time they feel a negative emotion. So while they're doing this imagination and creating and being blissful, the state of consciousness then moves because reality hits, and now all of a sudden is feeling that that's not possible, or a limiting a belief. So a negative emotion hits. I've never heard you speak about the moment the negative emotion hits. What would you recommend in that moment? I've identified a negative emotion. I kind of like go with it. Like a lot of people like lean towards it, and then snapping out of it. Sometimes I can't snap out of it. I take a nap. Abraham says take a nap, or something like that. So, what would you in that moment? You felt negative emotions, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So
I always love it when people say that too. Like,
all right. So in that particular moment, I've realized it. What is it like? Is there like a practical moment that you could like give some kind of speak?
Speak?
Yeah, speak.
Speak. Do it now. Yes. Well, first of all, you observe it, but you already did that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have noticed it, right? So you notice it, and you notice that it doesn't feel good. And the first thing you say to that is, wonderful. That means that my guidance system is operational. It means that I'm being shown how to live in a more holistic, amazing, aligned reality. So your only understanding of a negative emotion is that it's a positive event, to see the negative emotion, right? And you see it, which means you're not it. It means you've already ascended into a higher level of consciousness, otherwise you would not be able to see the negative emotion. You would simply be it. You'd be lost in it. You wouldn't be able to notice, oh hey, I have a negative feeling come up. So since you're as calm and collected when a negative emotion comes up, as you all are, unswayed by the appearances in consciousness, you understand that if you feel bad, it shows you that right the second before that, a belief was activated either by your environment or by your thinking process, and that fundamental belief or point of view is simply no longer working for you. That's all it is.
So basically, every time I feel a negative emotion, I'm about to discover a flawed premise. Is that the...
And to take it one step further, you're about to enter into a more heavenly reality. So who would not want to see a negative feeling? That's how people often sell themselves short in a sense. So they're accelerating and they're feeling good, and then negative emotion arises. And what do? They don't understand that they can reply to that in whatever way they desire. So they think, oh, wait a second, a negative emotion comes up, so that defines who I am. I'm still a sucker. I'm still bad. I'm still flawed. I'm still wrong. I still don't get how this works. No, you perfectly get how it works. That's why it comes up. Does that make sense? If you didn't get how it works, you're like many other people are, which is in a constant state of semi-depression, but it's so constant. Like people that either drink a lot of alcohol or do whatever substance you use a lot, at some point you become very tolerant to it. And I'm not saying this in any way negatively, but just as an analogy for the emotional state of many human beings. Whatever you do all the time, at some point it's just like you're numb to it. So you're numb to even your depression. You're depressed even towards your depression. You don't even care about your depression anymore. You don't even notice the waves. You're just like, yeah, that's life. That's bricks and cement, and I hit my head every once in a while, and I navigate around it, and that's life. So it's a good thing when negative emotion spikes up. It's a good thing. The contrast is a good thing because it shows you that you are very active on a level of consciousness. You're very conscious. You're very progressive in your evolution, right? So it's a good sign. Always, as soon as a negative emotion hits, like let your first response be, oh, jolly, fun, something along those lines. Does that make sense? So be really happy to see a negative feeling. Sure, it can feel a little bad, but that's okay. You've had it before. It's not that big of a deal. And now at least you know that it's arising because you're increasing your frequency. You're expanding, therefore your contraction is shown. If you're growing and you're becoming more and more muscular, like I am, then you, at some point, you burst out of your skin, right? Your jacket no longer fits. Sorry, I didn't mean to. No, I'm not sorry. Your jacket no longer fits when you grow too fat or whatever. But when you expand too much, at some point you hit that barrier, that vibrational barrier. And what is that? It's literally you rubbing up against the very edge of your present paradigm. So your energy starts to expand even beyond your paradigm bubble, but you can't fully stretch further unless you look at the things you're holding on to that are part of the old paradigm. Now there's many things in the old paradigm that you don't need to look at. They won't come up for you as you expand into your joy. This is where shadow work goes wrong. It focuses on all the nitty-gritty little details, 9 out of 10 which you never have to look at. Unnecessary waste of consciousness, stop it, unless it feels good. But it doesn't. I've never met a happy shadow worker, ever. So your skin will start to feel tight. If you don't expand, your skin won't feel tight. It will just be there, you won't notice it, right? You won't notice your jacket being tight if you don't expand. So similarly, you won't notice what you still hold on to from your old vibratory paradigm if you don't expand beyond that. So what does it mean when you do start to feel contracted and tied? It means you're actually expanding. You're looking at it the wrong way if you judge it negatively. If you feel bad about yourself, what you're saying is, oh, I am contracting. The opposite is happening. The paradigm is still the same size, but you are expanding. That's why you feel the contraction. So as soon as you feel the contraction, deal with it in a positive way. Does that make sense? Approach it instantaneously from a confident place of knowing that you are progressing, you are expanding. And when you do it in that way, you will continue the expansion and you will burst out of your skin. You will show yourself what fits in, what does not fit in, what you want to let go of, and what you want to bring along in a different fashion. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Does it work? If this is what you're doing, you're expanding, you're getting excited, you're in your day 1 new vision of yourself, and day 2 hits, and there's a little bit of challenge, and there's a little bit of emotionality coming up, and you go, oh, never mind. That is up to you. The emotion doesn't tell you to go woo, 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 woo. You choose that the emotion means you should go woo, 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 woo. Remember, never take your cues from your circumstances. Emotions are circumstantial. They're not internal, they're circumstantial. In a sense, even your point of view is circumstantial, but this is so intimate to the I am consciousness that we could call it the inner state. Your point of view, your state of being, your frequency is the only thing that belongs to the inner realm. Everything above that, beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and environment, are circumstances. Don't take your cue from your beliefs, your emotions, your thoughts, and your circumstances. Choose them in accordance with the point of view that feels best. Does that make sense? Okay. So yes, it's a good thing. If you would not feel the emotion, you would most likely not discover the belief. So don't do this. Don't go expand, be excited. Then you hit a threshold and then you go, shit, I'm doing something wrong. Because then you are lowering your frequency and you're basically telling yourself, I'm not ready for the next paradigm. Let me sink back into this one. It feels comfortable. It feels terrible, but it feels comfortable. Let me stay comfortable. I like this couch. So what you want to do is as soon as the emotion comes up, you're excited because it's progress. So now you're no longer going to be non-excited as soon as an emotion comes up. In fact, you're going to be disappointed if no negative emotion comes up. You're like, fuck, I must be in the same paradigm still. What did I do wrong? Let me excite myself even more. Let me do something even more dangerous, even more cutting edge, even more exciting. And then, oh, there it is, day 2 challenge. Ha, fun. Okay, this means I've actually progressed. Thank you, now I can feel good about myself because the negative emotion came up. Now I can look at it, see where it comes from. I find the belief is I'm unworthy of this much bliss. Oh shit, is that true? No, of course not. I'm existence itself. There's only one being. I created myself to be in bliss all the time, to express myself as blissfully as I can. So it's just a man-made idea that I picked up along the way from one of my sheep, people, peers, and I just see no more sense in it. It seems stupid to me to believe that I'm unworthy of this much bliss. It just no longer computes with my level of understanding that I'm inseparable from all that is. And what happens? Boop! You shift, you lock yourself into another point of view that then crystallizes itself into another belief system, and the